ladies and gentlemen, students and parents alike. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the state of admissions for particular schools. I know a lot of you are very concerned about that at the time. In particular, we're going to talk about what happens if you are waitlisted. Now, if you are accepted, great. If you are rejected, that's over. But let's talk about waitlisting. Something in the middle, right? Now, first of all, the thing to understand, waitlisting is not the same thing as being rejected. A lot of my parents and students don't understand this. A waitlisting just means that you are reserved in case a slot opens up. Now, that is very likely to happen, especially in these chaotic days. Students may pull out of schools that they were previously accepted to, and that may open up an opportunity for you. Now, should you pursue every single waitlisting? Not necessarily, although you can. But if there's a school that you really, really care about and you really want to get into, being waitlisted at that school is not the same thing as being rejected. You still have a chance to get into that school. The best way that you can make sure that happens is with what we will call a letter expressing continuing interest. In the future, I'll just call it an LECI. Once again, that is a letter expressing continuing interest. It is a letter that shows that you still have an interest in attending that school as a student, right? So let's get into it. First of all, why is this important? It's important because when the time comes for the school to choose how they will fill the empty slots, they will give top priority to students who have written letters like this. So, once again, you may feel like it's a rejection. It's not a rejection. What they're saying is, we would like you in this school, but maybe 1,000 students applied. We can only accept 100. You're in the 25 students that we would like to see at this school, but we just don't have space right now with the slots that we filled with that 100. But those 100 students may have been accepted to other schools as well, and they may have chosen to go to other schools. That means a slot opens up, and that is the chance for you to take that slot. Therefore, you write a letter expressing continuing interest, an LECI, to show that you are still interested in this school, that although you are on the wait list, you want to move to the top of the queue, if at all possible, right? Generally speaking, if you don't write this letter, they won't even consider you because they will assume you found something else. So, write this letter. Now, some schools, and this applies to both boarding schools and universities, some schools will ask for some specific things in an LECI. What I'm about to explain to you will generally apply to any LECI, but if the school asks for something specific, fulfill their request. And I or another AC will be happy to talk to you about that. Generally, you want to address the LECI to whoever wrote you the email saying that you were waitlisted. Generally, it will be the admissions department. Sometimes it may be a specific person. Regardless, address this letter to, it could be Dear Admissions Department of, and then the school name, or it can be Dear Mr. or Ms., and then the name of the person. And then the subject line, because it's an email, should be letter expressing continuing interest, and then in parentheses, student's name. Okay, let's go through the format. There will be 4 paragraphs that I will go through here. Okay? First of all, this should be 1 page in Microsoft Word. Don't go on and on. Just make it 1 page. That should be enough to say what you need to say. So, first paragraph. Thank you for putting me on the wait list and for considering me as a possible entrant to your school. I appreciate blah, blah, blah. Now, here you have a choice to make. If this is your top school, if this is your dream school, this first paragraph is where you could promise that if they accept you, you will go there. You want to be careful with that, though. Don't make that promise if you don't mean it. Make that promise only if it's the school that you really care about the most, that you really love. Don't make that promise to more than one school. The world of admissions departments is smaller than you think, and they do exchange information. So you want to make sure that you only promise that if you accept me, I'm going straight to your school. Do that only if you mean it. Second paragraph. Go over your major accomplishments. Review the things that make you especially suited for this school. Now, presumably, you did this in your application essays. But there's a good chance that when they go over the waitlisted candidates, they're not going to go through the whole application. They're only going to review these LECIs. So just give a brief review of what makes you special, what makes you unique as a student, and what makes you especially suited to this particular school. If you haven't gone through the school's website and haven't reviewed like the school's philosophy, their available extracurriculars, the courses that you're most interested in taking, the professors you're most interested in working with, I assume you did this in your application. If you didn't, do it now. Because one of the main things about an LECI, a letter expressing continued interest, is you want to make sure that you emphasize continually how enthusiastic you are about this school. One of the best ways to do that is continuing to emphasize how much you know about the school and how passionate you are about what you know about that school. And beyond that, what about that school makes it a really good fit for you and your passions and your achievements. So, presumably you did that with your original application. Now is the time to briefly review that, go over the key points. Paragraph number 3. Here's where you go over what you have accomplished since the time that you applied to this school. Presumably you applied in November or December of the preceding year. At latest, it was in January or early February of this year. What's happened since then? So you go over your extracurriculars. Have you made any new achievements in your extracurriculars? Have you achieved some kind of new leadership position? Have you won any more awards in your extracurriculars that you're really passionate about? Also, academically, have you reached a higher level of academics? What classes have you been taking? What new projects have you been doing? Have you made any more academic accomplishments since your original application? If your grades have been maintained, mention that. A lot of students, after they send off their applications, they start ignoring grades. It's a super bad idea. I'm going to assume you didn't do that. So, talk about how your grades have stayed as high as they were before. Have they gone up? This is the time to mention that. Anything that you can say here about your continued achievement, academically or in terms of your extracurriculars, is great. Then, finally, we get to our fourth paragraph. Now, once again, you need to re-emphasize what a good fit you are for this particular school. Find a way to say it differently than you did in the first paragraph, or find something new to say. But the key is here, again, we want to express enthusiasm for this school. Why do you think this school is a particularly good fit for you? And why do you think you're a particularly good fit for this school? It may sound the same, but it's actually not. Remember that it's a symbiotic relationship. The school wants students who will fit into their school culture, and students who will help the school to be better than it was before. But they're also looking for students who will really be enthusiastic about that school, right? And who will achieve long-term success. You can talk here about your long-term plans. This is the time to, once again, emphasize, I love this school. I really want to be part of this school. Here's the reason why. Finish it up with a thank you. Tell them you hope to hear from them soon. Again, 1 page, if possible. Now, I understand that writing something like this can be a challenge. That's why people like me are here. That's why we exist, specifically to help students and parents to make this happen. So I strongly encourage you, write the LECIs, the letters expressing continuing interest, to the schools, especially the ones that you really care about. And if you're worried about the tone or the content or the organization of these letters, I hope this has helped, but if you want more advice, please contact me or contact one of our other professionals at The Edge. We will be happy to help you. Just takes an hour. So, one more time. Thank you. I continue to be interested in your school. These are my major accomplishments, and these are the things that make me good for the school. This is what I've done since I submitted my application. These are the new achievements that I have made. Finally, thank you once again for your continued consideration. I really love your school because A, B, C, D, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, guys, and please, again, get in touch with me or one of your other AC professionals if you need more assistance. For now, stay safe out there. Always a pleasure.